You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 297. My name is Clark from 5cardguys.com. You can also find me at 5cardguys on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Co-hosting with me as usual is Hyung, who is at ChoHyung on IG and YouTube as well. And we've got a new co-host with us today. Our OG crew is back for this episode today because John, aka at TradeU at Recess on IG, the prodigal son has returned. So before we begin, John, how's it going and what have you been up to lately?
It's good, guys. Good to be back. It's been a while. Life has just been so busy. Yeah, I apologize to all the listeners, but I'm sure they could have used a break from my voice.
No. I know our podcast fans missed you, especially Will. He always says it's just not the same without John. Hyung and I aren't, the two of us aren't good for him. So I know you've got your fans for sure. And definitely you add, obviously your own perspective to the show. So glad to have you back, John.
Thanks, man.
All right. Off the top today, I thought we could start with a cool story that has a personal connection to you, Hyung, and to us in general, being Canadian. And it has to do with athletics. And I always want to say Oakland Athletics, but I guess they're just calling themselves Athletics while they're in Sacramento.
They're the McLovin. They're the McLovin of the MLB.
Yeah. Well, it has to do with Athletics rookie outfielder Denzel Clarke, who made one of the best catches this season, maybe all time. He's definitely in that discussion, when he robbed Nolan Schanuel of a home run by scaling the 8-foot wall in left center like he was Spider-Man. And deservedly, Topps made that catch into a Topps Now card, which I ordered 5 of. Nice. So I'm looking forward to getting that. But anyway, Hyung, you want to share how you know Denzel and what you thought of him as a prospect coming up playing in the minors?
For sure. In the last 2 weeks, he's made 3 unbelievable catches. So the third catch you're talking about with the Topps Now card just happens to be the best, I think the best out of the 3. But if you haven't seen all 3 catches, you got to go take a look. That's literally how he broke into, I guess, the big leagues, because he's only been in the big leagues for 2 weeks now. But I've known Denzel since he was 14 years old. He was probably 5'6", and it was kind of like a quiet kid with big goggle glasses, just kind of like playing on the turf, warming up. And I'm like, who's this kid? And like a lot of people weren't, I guess, on him at the time in terms of baseball because he was super, super raw. But I just seen a young kid who, one, was such a good kid, just authentically. And then his athleticism, his potential athleticism is the first thing that caught my eye. And his mom happened to be right there, and we started talking. And Donna is a former Olympian, I find out. So we started the conversations there. And at that time, I was coaching the Toronto Mets, which is an elite travel team here in Toronto. For high school players. I was the head coach on that 16 and under team where I brought Denzel in, and I was his head coach, and then fortunate enough to coach him on the junior national team with Team Canada. He's made some spectacular plays with the junior national team. I remember in 2017 in Thunder Bay, and you'll see it, all his catches are kind of going viral, but he was 17 years old at the time, or 18, and he made a diving catch against Chinese Taipei down the right field line. So that was kind of where you seen bursts of like greatness, but he was so raw. This kid was so raw. And it kind of reminds me because when I got him, he was like 5'6", 5'7", but I seen a 6'4", 6'5" projectable body. His mom, former Olympian. We've addressed what Denzel needed to do at an early age, which was to stay athletic, because that was his best asset. Was he didn't know baseball at the time, but baseball can be taught through experience, through the right coaching, as well as his journey that he's played now Division I baseball, minor league baseball, and now he's doing that at the major league level is pretty crazy, and it's something that I think is very exciting for Canadians and just people in general, like not only Canadians. I know it's exciting for us anytime we get a player that, kind of makes a world statement, almost takes the world by storm. And that's what Denzel did for the first 2 weeks of his major league debut. And yeah, that's what you're getting out of him. You're getting a top premier defender and a guy with potential, 30 plus home run power. But again, obviously baseball is not easy. It's very difficult. So, it's a process where he's 25 years old. So he's a little older now in terms of the typical young prospects we look for. But that's just shows you how development occurs, whether you're a Ronald Acuna or Juan Soto when you're, 18, 19 years old, or you're 25 years old and hitting your, stride, in your late 20s, everybody's development is different. And Denzel Clarke is fortunately enough to, take the world by storm in his first 2 weeks. And yeah, I'm super grateful to have experienced, even in his development in baseball, just because he's such a good kid. Like his head's on right. He prioritizes. He's one of the hardest workers. There's so many good things that you just root for the kid. So for me, even the Tops Now card is more than, just a card. It's definitely something that is very meaningful. And this is why I do like brands like Tops Now, because they do have that sentimental value to the people that, that it matters to.
For sure. Yeah, no, that was well said. Incredible catch. And I'm glad that more people are noticing Denzel Clarke, because I know being around you, Hyung, I knew the name Denzel Clarke way before he got called up. And, someone like me, I would have known who Denzel Clarke was with that kind of personal connection, right? So, yeah, glad to see. I don't know if it was on the MLB network, but they were doing, I sent you guys a link to that interview clip where they're comparing his catch to some of the all-time iconic catches in the history of the game. So that's what we're talking about. If you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah. Johnny, did you see it?
I did. Crazy. Man.
That's just pure athleticism.
Seriously. But it's so cool to see. I know Kyung's been talking about Denzel. Like, Clark, you and I know of him because of Hyung. And, he's right. I think he's come visited your office a couple of times. And yeah, I think you guys ripped packs together, right? From what I remember.
We ripped packs together. So we have some old footage of some old Bowman. And we also, I'm trying to get footage. What was really cool, and I was discussing this with Clark and Andy, one of our producers for our media side of things. We have footage of Denzel doing a camp here in Toronto, a winter camp. And I happened to I bought a lot of his cards for cheap. I had a green sapphire out of 99, which is a cool color match with the Athletics. It's not his first Bowman Chrome, because he doesn't have a first Bowman Chrome auto. It's just the second year Bowman auto, I guess. But we ended up giving that away. Denzel, I basically, I graded it. It was a SGC 10, and I gave it to Denzel to give it to a lucky camp participant, and we got it on film. So we're trying to go into the archives and bring that up. But amazing times with him for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll definitely need to reconnect with him somehow in the off season
for sure. Yeah, well, I know he's down for a podcast. I was supposed to do in my podcast that I'm doing season 2. Denzel was supposed to be on it, but timing didn't work out. So he's definitely someone I want to bring on season 3 later this year. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that, let's move on to hobby headlines. All right, we mostly like to focus on issues and hot topics within the hobby on our podcast, but occasionally we'll do a review on a product that was just released. And one of those products is always Top Series 1 and 2 every year because it's just a staple for us baseball card collectors. And so today, with the recent release of Top Series 2 Baseball, I thought we could just go through what's, back in the set, what's new, and discuss whether we think it's cool or not. All right, so let's start with the top flagship rookie cards to chase in this set. And I'll name a few, and you guys tell me who you would be chasing. All right, like who appeals to you. So the ones that come up frequently are Roki Sasaki, Haesung Kim, and I don't know if I'm just including him because he's Korean, but Haesung Kim of the Dodgers, Cam Smith, Matt Shaw, and Christian Campbell. And the last three I named, Matt Shaw, Christian Campbell, and Cam Smith, are short printed, if that makes a difference to you. Any names that appeal to you?
I think for me, it's a decent rookie class. I think there's a lot of chase, and I think Roki Sasaki is actually the kicker, as crazy as that might sound, because people are just saying, oh, he's a bust. I'm like, man, this guy's 23 years old. Let him kind of settle down. And very interesting stat I pulled up with collecting in general in Japan, there was like a 2,100% increase in the last few years with collectability, with everything around sports with Japan, with baseball specifically. And a lot has to do with Otani, a lot has to do with Yamamoto, now Sasaki. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's what you're in. You're in a whole different marketplace where these guys didn't exist before. So if you have short printed cards or you have scarce cards in a whole different marketplace that has a massive demand, that's a plus for everybody. I think that's a huge bonus for everybody, because if you're just ripping cards and then you pull, let's just say a Christian Campbell, for instance, it's still going to be desired, but not at the level of Roki Sasaki. So for me, that's the big kicker in all of this, is having key Japanese players, because Japan is the one growing the market at a massive rate as well, especially for Fanatics and Tops, right? So it's almost like a partnership between Japan and Fanatics is so important to the future of baseball collectability. And Roki is the chase at the end of the day. And with that, there's a strong rookie class. So for me, I'm happy that there's year after year, it's not a boring necessarily. There's always someone to chase, right? And going back to sorry, your series 2, that kind of reminds me of going back. We talked about the bat down Acuna, right? And that's what kind of made it, I guess, iconic, is that it was a short print. And then when you look at Topps as a flagship rookie, everybody sees the bat down as his flagship, and then he has the mass printed Topps update bat up image, right? So, and then it gets fun with Acuna because you have parallels of the bat up. That's why there's value on the bat up, because there's no parallels on the short printed bat down, right? So unless it's the sapphire.
Yeah, we're going deep within Top Series baseball, but it's short good prints. For yeah, short prints are a thing for sure. How about you, John? Any of those names kind of pop out to you, or?
Well, besides the obvious bias of the Korean guy, like, I don't know rookies as well as you guys, but I do like the fact, and I don't know if it's strategic on purpose, or it's because they weren't able to get prints in time. But the fact that some of the biggest names in the set are short printed, I like that. As a strategy, I like that, and even as a collector, I think if they going forward, some of the best rookies end up being short printed. I actually really like that. As long as they're adding more to the hits outside of just the rookie cards, I think it gives a little bit, a little lore and a little, pizzazz back to collecting rookie cards. And then, you have outside hits like veteran autos. You can get like a, Ichiro Otto or Barry Bonds or something like that. Like if you have outside hits just aside from the rookie cards, and then the rookie cards themselves are also short printed, I think for collectors, this is I don't. It feels like a win to me in terms of like collecting.
Yeah, no, I don't have much to add to that. Other than maybe you can get Sasaki for a little bit of a discount because he's struggling this year, right? But I think we all believe in the talent still, and he's probably just adjusting to Major League Baseball. The short prints, if any of those rookies hit, those short printed cards, the values will just skyrocket.
Do we know the short print amount? Because is it relative short print to print? Because it could still be a massive amount.
It's probably a relative short print.
Yeah, because super short print is something, but short prints, is it 2,000, 5,000, 10,000?
Yeah. Similar to how they say downtowns are like case hits and there's like a billion of them.
I know. That's why I started collecting those home field advantage, thinking they're case hits, but there seems to be millions out there. So, but to your question, I don't think they released how many short printed cards there are actually, but I feel like you could, I don't know,
figure it out.
Maybe it's not super short print. Yeah, maybe it's not super short print, but just short print it. Okay, while we're talking about players, we finally get Juan Soto in a Mets uniform. Big deal for you or not really?
Like in terms of, the card.
Yeah.
I guess Series 2 is the first Juan Soto. I think collectability long term, there's always going to be a demand for like, oh, this is his first card with that team, just in that niche hobby. But I don't think it's something that, and it all depends, because something like Ohtani in an LA Dodgers uniform, I would say would hit different. And then if Soto won a World Series with the Mets and then he won like 3 MVPs in the next 5 years, and then I could see like that chase being a thing. But you got to be doing something. You got to be doing more than what Soto's doing right now for that to be even a thought right now at this point, because the way modern collectability is such an emotional roller coaster, I guess, because it all depends on what's happening now and who's the hottest fad, right? Like Ohtani. So for me, it's not that collectible, but I do think there is collectability in it long term if you're into that, right? So it all depends on what I guess hits that appetite.
That's fair.
Yeah,
John.
Yeah, I don't think it has the collectability versus either the Yankees or Dodgers. And apologies to Mets fans, but it's just sort of like a fact. I think outside of, if you're living in New York, I'm sure that comment might upset you, but outside of New York, for people living in Toronto or not in New York, like it's a given when a big name player goes to either the Dodgers or the Yankees, it kind of like bumps up the value of the card, whether it's like Otani in a Dodgers uniform, or when Soto was on a Yankees uniform. Like we can even talk like Luka in a Lakers uniform. There's just something about the historic team within the sport, and the Mets. I don't think it's going to hit like that for the Mets, but I mean, he's got the monster contract. This is probably going to be his home for pretty much the rest of his career. So if he continues down that sort of like Ted Williams trajectory, maybe like Brett, deep value investor. He's not really into like collecting the first team card, and I think this is, outside of Yankees and Dodgers, this is a perfect example where I don't think that first card in a Mets uniform is really going to be a big deal, even long term. But this is just going to be, he's going to be in a Mets uniform for the next 10 years or whatever, and he's going to build out the rest of his Hall of Fame career, and it's going to be awesome, hopefully, for everybody and Soto fans. But yeah, I don't think the first Mets card is really going to be that big of a deal here, unfortunately.
Yeah, all good points. Maybe my opinion is more biased because he shunned the Jays, so forget Juan Soto in a Mets uniform. Who cares? All right, let's move on. But that being said, I've forgiven Ohtani. I've forgiven Ohtani completely now. You just can't deny greatness sometimes, right? Yeah. So that's why I'm looking for Ohtani in the Dodgers uniform. So maybe a year from now, I'll feel the same way about Juan Soto in a Mets uniform. And look at the Mets; they're World Series bound. They're doing great.
You know what? I was just gonna
Soto's
say
slow
that.
start.
I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, Soto's probably gonna hit 300 with 35 to 40 bombs and MVP candidate. So
he's on fire.
He does this every year.
Games.
Yeah, and then you have Pete Alonso, Lindor, like guys that are just like Pete Alonso too, just mashing this year. So the Mets, shout out to the Mets. I know we dog them, but and you get overshadowed by the Yankees a bit always, but there's love for you. They have a really good team that I think is going to go deep this year.
For sure, I agree. All right, let's quickly go over some of the inserts that are back in Series 2. So they were in previous years, and coming back is the Golden Mirror image variations. Remember those? It's kind of the alt cards, right? Of each player, all 350 base cards will have a Golden Mirror image variations for the second straight year. Do you like those? Do you like Golden Mirror? You're still on them, or?
Yeah, for me, I'm all for that because, like I said, I addressed this in previous pods too. I am not a fan of the experience in paper products in general because there's really boring parallels. You're going through a lot of base cards. So for me, anytime you spice things up with short prints or even more, not necessarily more inserts, maybe more rare inserts, I would be looking for more a game within the game in paper product. So for me, anytime they expand the lineup in that sense, I think the user experience increases because we all know we've ripped a lot of paper product and it is so boring. So it's like, that's why I'd rather rip Chrome, less cards to rip. You're looking for the autos. But in paper products, you're not necessarily looking for autos. It's like hobby boxes are maybe you get an auto or maybe you get a napkin patch. And most likely you get a napkin patch. So it's like, that sucks. Like that, it's boring. And that's what I hated about paper product. But what I loved about paper product at the same time was the paper parallels. And I think those are where Topps needs to really focus on and make paper parallels a thing again. Because there's no love for paper parallels.
Right. Except the platinum.
Yeah, well, the platinum, yes.
Platinum.
That's a different topic.
Yeah.
They should make it out of platinum. It's 101. What does it cost? Like $1,000 to make that?
Seriously.
Just do it.
There you go. Topps, another great idea from our podcast. Johnny, you still like the Golden Mirror image?
I'm with Young. I like it. I'm all about, really solid hits within a box. Like the more you can provide, even if it kind of gets gimmicky, it's okay. Like I think that's what collectors, you're getting young folks involved into the hobby. Like you don't want to be spending $250. $150 and you don't even get an auto. Like I think autos should be a given. Like there should be one auto per box. Or if it's going to be like a game used, Fanatics, start flexing your muscle now and give like a big jumbo patch of a game used, no more napkin patches. If you're going to do one per box, like make these boxes, make the value, give some value back to these customers instead of just overprinting like crazy. So 350 base cards, Golden Mirror variations, the more hits on top of hits on top of hits that you can potentially get in a hobby box, I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too. It's a given for me when I rip Top Series 1 or 2 that I'm going to get a napkin patch, okay? I accepted that. But so it's good to have that potential chase of all these other short printed cards, whether the Golden Mirror image or even what we're talking about, short printed rookie cards. So, and I think the last time I checked, it's actually $90 US on the Topps website, but I know us Canadians, we get the markup. So we're more used to paying more, closer to $150. But it is a more affordable, cheap rip if you get it at actual retail price. So speaking of gimmicky, I know you just mentioned that, John. Signature Tunes insert dual auto returns. This is when you got the autograph of the baseball player with the musician who has their walk-up song. right? So, Mike Towers and Ronald Acuna, there's a dual auto. Otani's in this one with Lupe Fiasco. That's a name.
That's interesting.
And then you'll never see an Otani Fiasco dual auto card anywhere else. And David Ortiz, they're going back to, retired players, and Big Sean. Anyway, Signature Tunes insert dual auto cards. Cool, gimmicky still, or it's another chase.
I can't go back on my word a second ago. Even if gimmicky, I'm down for it. So I'm down for this too. No question. I think some of the weird pairings will be okay. Obviously, Shohei will be like collectible because it's Shohei.
Yes.
But I think there will be, in the future, if there's ones that are very sentimental that connect together for collectors, whether it's a big name artist in the city with the player, or like, for example, like Haesung Kim or Ha-Sung Kim, whichever you want to choose. And it's like their walk-up song is Blackpink and like a famous Korean pop group. Like if there is sort of like this connection, sentimental value between the two artist and player, I think that'll be cool. And it'll obviously happen amongst all of these pairings. There will be a couple that are, but where both are big names or both have some sort of like sentimental collectability. So I think it's great.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I want to like it. I want to like it, but I don't know if I like it. But I'm okay with it because if I pulled a card like that, I'd be like, okay, someone wants it.
Right.
And if they're famous, like for me, it's a great way as someone who's not necessarily so big on pop culture, I guess. Like I wouldn't like autographs and pop culture doesn't make sense to me. It does because I understand their impact on society, but for me, I would never ever collect, I think, in that sense. So it's obviously biased, but at the same time, as someone who's ripping and I pull one of these, am I going to complain? No. Like I would sell, I would sell those and I'd be happy with it. And if you extrapolate it from a biased perspective, I see how it could work with fanatics because, like I said, awareness is attention. Attention is the new currency. So if they're collabing Otani and Lupe, for instance, that's some serious power in terms of like branding, awareness, attention, right? So for me, it goes back to the framework that we've talked about many times on this episode about the marketing side of things. So from that perspective, it makes sense. I would try it out. I would do more collabs, more engagement, and it shows because at the end of the day, the dollar value is growing within what Fanatics is doing in the marketplace. So it's obviously working. So the marketing is why they're doing it.
Yep. I love the creativity. And when I got back into the hobby, I love collecting Allen and Ginter. And they've always had those like non-sports celebrity autograph cards. So this is like right down my alley. Yeah. So I love it. It's definitely gimmicky for sure. But I love it as a chase. And if I got the Otani Fiasco, that would be amazing, right? So I'll probably just keep it. And on that front, first pitch cards, we don't have to talk about this because it's kind of on the same vein of what we were just discussing. But first pitch cards also, it's a way to get non-sports celebrities on in the set, essentially, right? So, I think was the Top Series 1 this past year. Larry David has one. Yeah. I actually want that card, but there are hardcore Larry David fans out there, I've learned, because they're all going for thousands of dollars. I can't get one for cheap. Oh, so yeah, at least
short printed. I'm assuming it's very short printed.
Even the base, I believe, is short printed because it's autographed. But there are base or there are lower number parallel autograph cards too, which are going for even more, right? So
nice.
So I mean, you'll have stars, you'll have popular celebrity types in these sets that are definitely worth the chase. Okay, let's end off this segment with a couple of new things you can look forward to in Top Series 2. I don't know if you guys remember All Aces. That's not new, where it features some of the the best pitchers in the league, and it's in kind of a looks like the deck of cards, and it has the ace. They have all kings in this year's set, and it only features the top batters. What do you think?
Interesting.
Very interesting. Are they rare? Like,
are these short prints?
Yeah.
Are they short, or is just kind of like?
I don't think so, because I pulled a few all aces.
Yeah,
like,
the aces weren't that.
It's probably not short printed.
The aces weren't that.
Yeah,
I guess they would be short printed because they are technically inserts, so they're not going to be mass produced, but they are I would say like a softer hit, like type hit, and with the right player, right? I think I don't mind it. Like I said, I like that about collectability. I just don't want all base cards. You know, that's what like Upper Deck. That's Upper Deck's problem. It's like you rip Upper Deck, you just base, and then it's like a French base that you don't even know it's a hit, and then you're like, my box is a dud, right? So it's like that's what paper was, and so for me, everything you're listing, it's like, yes, I want more of the experience, but I would like to see even more. It's like, what about a chase of a fan experience with Lupe Fiasco or whatever it may be, right? Like, make bigger deals that Fanatics can leverage. But yeah, going back to the Kings, like it's not gonna sell me on it, but I'm okay. This is what I like.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is now. Common inserts is not speaking to the masses anymore. It's for the people who are sort of set collecting, and it's their little sort of side quest within the set collecting.
Yeah.
So in terms of like how it looks and stuff, yeah, that's great. But I mean, this is not really a big, I think, a big news story or anything for sort of your average collector.
Definitely. Yeah, the value isn't there either. All aces cards aren't worth that much. So I'm guessing all kings kind of will be the same. And I'm glad you brought up the point about set collecting. It could be fun for some collectors that collect that way. So that's always a good chase for them. But one insert card, and this is the last one I have on the list, that might be valuable is the K Zone insert. I don't know if you saw these, but it's a die cut card, right? And it's in the shape of a K, and it's for pitchers, obviously, strikeout pitchers. But there's also a backwards K die cut card, which are more rare.
Yeah.
So people are saying the Paul Skeens backward Ks are going to go for 1,000. You know, like the value is already there.
But
do you like die cuts in general, and do you like this Ks?
I'm not a die cut guy.
Ks?
I'm not a die cut guy. I'm not a die cut. And people like even
it's a lot of corners on a K.
yeah, exactly.
Impossible to get a PSA 10.
I don't know why. Maybe it's basketball. I'm just used to like the select die cuts, and it's just like or like, you know, just. And here's the thing. I used to think die cut cards were the coolest thing in the 90s. Like, I thought they were like, this is patches and die cuts are like amazing. But now, anytime I get a die cut, I'm like, a waste of a hit. That's what I always had the mindset of. Like, for instance, would you rather have like a Luka true color parallel or a Luka die cut? You know what I mean? You're like, oh man, I wish I didn't hit the die cut. I wish this was like a true color. So it always had that, I guess, for modern collecting side. And maybe it changes. Maybe it's like, I'm like, man, these die cuts are the best thing ever. But most likely, I don't like backwards K. That's cool. Cool concept, because backwards K in baseball is like you strike out looking, right? Versus, so on the scorecard, so on the scorecard, people would put K. But a backwards K would say you struck him out looking, right? So there's that kind of dual play on it, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I don't mind all of these, but I'm not buying Series 2 because of this.
Card either.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm not really into die cuts at all. But I will say backwards K, pretty creative if you're talking about die cuts. Not bad. And I mean, you know, like as much like we've said it before, as much as you can complain about all these different hits and how gimmicky they are and stuff, like I will 100 out of 100 times take this over like donut circle parallels and you know flower power parallel. Like I'll take anything creative outside of like adding multiple parallels on top. Like keep the OGs, Black, Independence Day, whatever. Keep those. But outside of adding all these extra parallels, I will take all of these different creative ideas all day long. celeb autos, backward Ks all day. I'll take that instead.
Agreed. The OG parallels. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to mention. Top Series 1 left out the black parallels numbered to 10. And then there was an uproar. People were pissed off, right? It's like, how can you get rid of one of the most traditional parallels? You ruined my set collection. I'm trying to go for black parallels every year. But Top Series 2, they announced that black parallels are back. And they're also inserting black parallels from Top Series 1 into Top Series 2.
Oh, interesting. I was going to ask. So they changed the number formatting officially? Like, so is black, because black in chrome is at a 10. Right. Black in parallels were, 66 in 2017, 67 in 2018.
Oh, right.
Or it increased. And that was part of what I believe was great about black parallels, is that they were rare, but not like at a 10 rare. So there was always a marketplace and a demand that had a market. Whereas out of 10, if they're switching black parallel, which is sad because they should have never taken out the black parallel, because the black parallel in paper is one of the best, I think, desired parallel. If you go back to 2011 Topps Update Trouts, those black parallels, are massive, massive cards. You go back in the past with any relevant rookie, black parallels have always been kind of a chase. So yeah, parallels need some work with paper product.
Wait, so you're saying the black parallel paper is now out of 10?
No, so I just looked that up because I was confused, and that was a good point to bring up. It's numbered to 74.
Okay, 74. So it's still the parallel paper parallel. So that's what I didn't want Topps to do, is change a paper parallel to go with chromes kind of
which is out of
alignment. 10. Yeah, in everything. So like, for instance, camo in paper is out of 25. I don't know if it's the same. Father's and Mother's Day is out of 50, 50, and then Independence Day is 76. Black's increasing every year, and then vintage is 99, right? And that's all your paper parallels. And then you have your golds, your rainbow foils. That's it. That should only be it. Stop making more.
Yes, get rid of the rest.
Get rid of the rest and do other better, like short prints.
Yeah.
Like reverse case.
Like reverse case. Reverse L's.
There you go. We're always coming with great ideas for Topps.
Did they leave out black? Like, was it on purpose they left out black? I bet you they didn't. I bet you they made a mistake and then they just hiding it under
the intern forgot.
Yeah, they're like, oops, we forgot to print, and like, oh yeah, let's just pretend like we did it on purpose.
I knew we forgot a color. Hopefully no one notices.
Do we have image?
Everyone
Sorry. Can we see an image? Can you pull up an image, or I'll look for. I just want to see these parallels. If they did a crappy job on the Independence Day and the Black Parallel, I didn't look it up, but those are the two parallels that
in the last number of years has been brutal.
So brutal.
It's lost so much of its luster.
Well, here's a black.
Yeah, that looks nice.
It pops.
I like that. That doesn't look like a base card.
An Independence.
Yeah, let me see these parallels.
And in paper, black has always been great.
I don't love it. It's all right.
They use the dark red.
Mixed reviews.
Nice. That's nice. Yeah, I don't mind the Independence.
For the Independence.
I think it's way better than in the last 3 years.
You got to use a brighter red. You got to let it make it pop a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the black has always been such a strong chase.
Rainbow. How about gold foil? Or sorry, not gold foil. Gold. Out of 2025.
Flat gold.
Dirt.
Yeah, I think classic card. I know it's not the right gold, but it's still classic to me.
It should be called brown. That's not gold.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. Oh, they did hollow.
And your
foil.
favorite?
See, they spiced it up a bit. They listened to us. It's not platinum.
It's not. Yeah,
they're
sick of us calling it platinum.
Yeah,
it says platinum. Yeah,
nice. There you go.
Not this one. Yeah, you can see some shine now.
Yeah, parallels are way better in general than previous years, but yeah, I would like to see them making a bit more of an effort on making parallels kind of like more desirable, like they were. Like I said, if you're new to collecting, go check out 2018 Topps 2019 tops, and that's it.
Agreed. And yeah, I'll end off with this. I'm going to Fanatics Fest next week. So
Nice.
they are also, I think for Top Series 2, there's Fanatics Fest exclusive. Remember, Hyung? There was I think it was Topps Chrome last time, right?
Yeah.
The Fanatics Fest exclusive. And in those boxes, they have parallels, the Big Apple refractor parallels, and the Swinging for the Stars that are only found in those Fanatics Fest boxes. Those return for Top Series 2. And I think they're going for $300. So triple the regular hobby box. But I felt like it's really easy to flip those.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's so exclusive.
This is I was thinking about that when we did last year, and the thought process is this: it's like, oh, definitely we go early, wait in line. Oh, the lineup's not that bad. I'll buy the max 2 boxes. I'll rip one and maybe sell one, and then you realize these aren't gonna. Like no point in ripping because people are overpaying for this, and then it becomes a flip. You double up on the money and you talk about how great Fanatics Fest was. That's what's gonna happen.
It worked. This is exactly what happened. So
and you pay for part of your trip.
That's gonna be the same review, I guess. This one after I go next week, but they're doing it differently. You know how we used to have to line up early and then, get the box? They're using EQL this time. So you actually line up online for the next 6 days.
Even better.
And they choose the people that can buy it at random, but you have to pick it up in person. If you don't, then it gets allocated to someone else.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. So pros and cons, but I think it's better that way. So you don't have to spend a couple of, we spent a couple hours lining up, but then we got to speak to other hobbyists. So that was a plus side, right? Yeah. So there's pros and cons, but just a heads up, if you're going to Fanatics Fest, that's how they're doing it this year for those exclusive boxes. Okay, let's move on to our next segment. We're bringing back over under. All right. So this is where I give you a number, and then I'm going to give you a list of 4 or 5 cards. And then you tell me what the last sold price was, if it went over or under the $10,000 mark in this case. All right. So first one, 2001 SP Authentic Golf, Tiger Woods. You know the card, rookie autograph, number to 900, of course, but graded BGS 9 auto 10, over under 10,000.
Wow. I would say it should be over 10,000.
Yeah, if it's under, that's a great deal, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a buy if it's under. And BGS 9 is a really good grade in that card, to be honest. So I don't see it falling off too much under 10. So I'm going to say over.
Over? Okay. Same.
I feel like the obvious answer is over. So the reason why Clark created this question is to kind of catch you off guard. So I'm going to say under.
John is on point now.
Yeah. So I'm going to say under.
John has been waiting for this.
John's been ready for this over-under for the last 2 months, waiting for him to come back on the show. Johnny, you're right. $8,988. I think Johnny's going to sweep this over-under.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next one. 2023-24 Spectra. Panini Spectra. There's a color blast card of Victor Wembanyama. It's an SSP. And it's his rookie card. BGS 9.5. Over under 10,000.
Damn.
I'm going to say the Wemby market has softened a lot in general. I'm going to say under.
Okay.
Oh, this is
John's going to be right. And he's going to go over.
This is tough. Wemby market's soft, but man, sometimes on like some of the Instagram posts, you see some big Wemby cards still going for like monster money. So
it's crazy.
Yeah. I'm assuming this is his only color blast, right? I don't even know. I'm going to say over 10. I think that's crazy money, but there's better use for $10,000, but I'm going to say over 10.
The correct answer is over 13,500. Johnny's going to sweep this. I can feel it. All right, next one. I like to kind of do a check every once in a while on some of the more iconic cards. So the 2000 Bowman Tom Brady rookie. right? 2000 Bowman, Tom Brady rookie, not the chrome, but the Bowman paper, PSA 10. Where do you think it sits now? Over or under 10,000?
Man, this is tough because I don't know where they were
Yeah,
before,
no, me too.
But
I'll give you, okay, this is a kind of a guess then. So last year they were going for about 6K.
oh, 6K. I'm gonna say. Ooh, this is hard. He is more relevant in the hobby, so I don't know if that has a play on it or not. But we always
Well,
said
six is
Bowman
Weird
It
to
was
say,
6K
which is weird to
last
say
year.
because,
And like, there hasn't been really anything about Tom Brady
yeah,
except the card
that's what I'm-
vault.
except him,
just
except,
being
yeah.
the
right?
hobby. And we always say how Bowman, it's the Bowman Chrome you want.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna say it's under.
yeah. It's 10K,
Under?
right?
Okay.
You were saying under 10K. Yeah, I
Yep.
could see it. I mean, I could see it going up, like maybe to 8, but 10. See here again. This could be Clark just tricking us really bad. But this one seems too obvious. Like I gotta go under.
Man, John, 8,100 under.
Just spot on, eh?
John is like even guessing the right numbers, you know? All right. Okay, two more quickly. I had to choose a hockey card because I knew John was going to be on. So 2023 Upper Deck, the Cup of Connor Bedard, his rookie logo patch auto. Okay, and I don't know if you know, the Cup, they're releasing their newer, the Cup RPAs in their own slabs, right? So they come in their own slabs. So it's one of those cards that's numbered to 99.
Connor Bedard.
Over or under 10?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it's under.
Okay.
I'm going under.
A Cup rookie auto patch out of 90 Connor Bedard. Like that is. See, it's funny. I'm gonna get the hockey one wrong. Watch. But this one has to be over 10. That does. I don't know. See, like Victor Wembanyama, which am I spending money? Like, I mean, maybe I'm a little biased on hockey, but this is like Holy Grail, Connor McDavid. Like, yeah, this is over 10. I'm buying that over Victor Wembanyama.
You're right. The Cup RPA is definitely the card to get for most hockey players, right? So for 10,390 over.
Wow.
There you go.
Is that a high for that card?
I don't know.
think so.
It has to be a low, right? Or
Yeah, but
Somewhere
I
in
think
between. Yeah.
it's
I bet you it
regressed.
was a good-
Bedard
it was-
market's
that
regressed
had to have been a massive card, like when it released.
on release. Yes, I think so. I'll check it later. Okay, this was the hardest one because it's the closest to the 10K mark. Either way, okay? MJ 1986 Fleer rookie card, BGS 8.5.
BGS 8.5 MJ. I'm gonna say these are always on a increase, so I don't know. Sorry, what did you mention before this?
It's the closest to the 10K mark.
Oh boy. So this is a legit coin flip.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's whether it broke
I
it.
haven't checked. I haven't checked Jordan
MJ's,
card. Like I remember the PSA 9 was kind of like in the 17, 18 realm, right?
Mm-hmm. This is a BGS and
Like
it's
a P
8.5.
like a PSA 8.5 would be a nice card. A
Better than
BGS
BGS,
9, I'm guessing a BGS 9 is over, 10 to 13. So BGS 8.5,
Yeah, I'd say
I don't
under.
know. Yeah, this is like you said. This is close. It's going to be like 9875 or something like that. Like this is going to be under.
All right. Did Johnny go 5 for 5? The answer is under 9,900.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness. Welcome back, John. Welcome back to the pod.
It's
In a
destiny.
big way. I know you guys usually bat maybe 500 in these kind of.
Oh, I'm batting like
over-unders,
100 in these quiz shows.
All right, well done. Okay, let's end off our show with our regular weekly segment we call Pick One. And as usual, Hyung, do you want to start things off for us?
Yes, and I told you I'm gonna stick with Aaron Judge until he becomes underpriced or overpriced.
Uh-huh.
I still think he's underpriced, so I'm gonna go every week because he's, like I said, he's not stopping. I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon. And we talked about it on the show. Topps paper parallels. So underrated. I'll give you an example. So we have $2,500 budget. All right. We're going to go into the Topps, his flagship image of him jumping. So we know that with the Topps Chrome, but this is Topps paper.
Yeah.
So a BGS 9 Memorial Day camo. So out of 25. Okay. A BGS 9 sold for $2,200. Okay. Which I think is ridiculous. That's cheap in my opinion. Like a camo out of 25. Like you don't even see these paper parallels. You don't see these exist. Would you spend $2,200, which I think whoever bought that, great deal, or the same date or a day apart for $2,500, a black parallel raw out of 66 sold. So a
Same
black
price?
raw, $200 more, $300 more than the camo.
Raw.
Yeah, then a BGS 9 camo out of 25. So we talked about how desirable the black parallel is, right? And then, as we see here, it's inflated compared to out of 25 camo, which is not desirable. It is obviously desirable, but not as much as I would say like a black parallel. And the price reflects that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
But $2,500 regardless, if I'm spending $2,500 and I purchase either of those, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. I'll go first. I'm looking at the card right now. 2017 Topps was one of those years where you couldn't tell the parallel.
Yes, I agree.
It wasn't as distinct.
Right.
Same with Chrome.
It's like the corner of the card, you see the difference, but the rest of one is like a full bleed card, right?
Not the
So you don't
greatest.
have the borders.
Not the greatest
right?
design.
So the black kind of looks regular to me, to tell you the truth. If I didn't see a number to 66 anywhere on that card, I wouldn't know it was a black. It doesn't stick out. And the camo, obviously, it's more distinct, but not as much. But it is numbered to 25. It is graded. I feel like the black, unless that corner is perfect, and there might be a reason why it's sold raw, it probably get I'm going to expect a PSA 7 or 8. So with that, I'm going to go with the camo because it's numbered to 25. You can actually tell it's a camo.
That's a good point.
And it's a BGS 9.
That's a good point about the grading. You're kind of guaranteed.
Okay, but before John, you say your answer.
Yeah.
I just want to put a disclaimer out there. In past, having owned both camo and black parallel, it is so much easier to sell a black parallel. I'm just throwing it out there. Camos, you're going to get lowballed.
I could see that.
Because there's never going to be a comp.
Right. Do we know what a BGS 9 black would go for? We probably don't know, right? Like, what's the upside in the grading? Anyways, okay.
Good luck, but
Okay, let's leave that part out. I think, dude, I think I'm going black. I think moving forward, even for us when we got back into the hobby, like Black and Independence Day were they were par. Actually, you could argue maybe Independence Day was even better, but Independence Day is like dependent on the look of the card of the year, whereas Black is not really. Black is like rock solid. It is a part of Topps paper. Like everyone desires it, no matter how the card looks. It just is like, oh, that's the black out of 67 or 66 or whatever. Like that's the best parallel chase with a lot of comps. So it kind of transacts really well. It's very liquid. So I think going forward, it's going to be the same thing, regardless of the look. It's not look dependent. It doesn't matter about eye appeal. So for me, it's the black. I think as you know, whoever the player is and their prices pop off like an Otani, some of the biggest, most desirable parallels are the ones going to first like really pop off in terms of price. So for me, it's the black. It has a potential. It has the history. It has everything. Everyone likes it. You know, liquidity, et cetera, black for me.
Before Hyung answers, and I think I know where he's going to go anyway, but I did find a BGS 9 comp of a black,
Okay.
but it was sold It was sold October 2024. So this is before he's doing what he's doing now. 1650.
Crazy.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying.
1650. That's the deal of the that's the deal of the year right there.
We've been shouting it. It's like Aaron Judge paper parallels. There's a lot of players out there. Even Ohtani paper parallels, super undervalued from a long-term perspective. But this one, $2,500, I think is, if I have that money and I purchased either one, I would be happy regardless. Mm-hmm. And if I had to pick one, through experience, I would normally pick the black. But with this particular card, I think I'm gonna go with the camo. I just
what?
Yeah, I would lock in the good grade. I think a BGS 9 and out of 25 of Aaron Judge, someone who's gonna be probably one of the best New York Yankee ever. Right? Like we're like, this is big time, like flagship parallel. Right? And black is too. Like John was saying, I don't remember. I always recall Topps Update Trout Black being like a massive card. And that history always repeats itself. So there's that side of this. The only kicker is an overpriced raw almost. You're paying overpriced raw as opposed to undervalued, like guaranteed a BGS 9. I'm happy with it. So in this case, I'm going to go camo. Although I would say it would be way tougher to sell the BGS 9 in the future.
Right. I feel like Hyung just pulled a John.
I
did.
Totally
thought you were going to go black.
It's his presence. It's his aura. Everything's just rubbing off on me now.
This is a John-themed show today. So, all right. I'll go next because it has Aaron Judge, and then we could close off with John at the end. But Aaron Judge, and I feel like this is going to go quickly. His orange refractor, I'm going 50,000. Okay, but they both sold for 50K. These two cards I'm going to name. First one, Aaron Judge, his first Bowman Chrome, 2013. Orange, number 25, BGS 9.5, auto 10. Okay, and on the other side, you got the 2011 Bowman Chrome Prospect, orange, number 25, rookie auto of, prospect auto of Bryce Harper, PSA 10, also sold for 50K within the last month. Which one are you going for, Bryce or Judge? Bryce is PSA 10, Judge is BGS 9.5.
It's not even close for me. Like if you're asking me to choose the player, and for me it's like Judge. Doesn't matter. Like for me, something like that card, that is massive. That is a big time Judge card. And same with the Bryce Harper, don't get me wrong, but like we're talking Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge is Shohei Ohtani type like player right now. So yeah, I got to go Judge.
Yeah. You guys know how I've kind of felt about Judge in the past, right? Like he's sort of like this up and down player. One year he hits 60, one year he's not as great, one year he's amazing, one year is not great in the playoffs. And there are believers, but there's also skeptics. But I think this year he's finally kind of cementing his floor in terms of investment. I think he's kind of solidifying his spot in, baseball, the baseball universe. And, like Hyung said, like this guy at this point in his trajectory, he could go down as one of the Yankee greats, like right up there with the best of the best. So for me, being a sort of like a Judge skeptic in the past, I'm on the Judge train. Like I think I'm with Hyung. I think this is an easy one. Bryce Harper's great. He's got big time fans. He's a big time player. He's well on his way to like the Hall of Fame career I think everybody predicted he would have. But Judge is kind of it looks like he's on a different level in terms of where he'll finish in his career if he continues down this path for the next whatever remaining years he has of his peak. So I don't know. For me, for that kind of money, I think Judge is an easy pick.
You know what? I can't believe the disrespect on Bryce Harper you guys are, giving. All right, like Bryce Harper is an amazing player, but you know where I'm going with this. I'm going with Aaron Judge as well. It's an Aaron Judge sweep. He's exactly what you just said, John. Like I was always up and down too. Like, oh, he's going to get injured. But this year, I'm kind of all in as well, just for all the reasons you just mentioned. So I knew that would be a quick one, especially after Hyung's pick one. So Aaron Judge, we're all on the Aaron Judge train right now. So there you go. Okay, John, last one goes to you.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to go NBA. And I feel like you guys, the LaMelo draft class year used to be a two-headed monster with LaMelo and Anthony Edwards, but I think that's changed. There's a different two-headed monster now, and we're looking at Tyrese Halliburton from that same draft class. So we're going Tyrese Halliburton Silver Prism PSA 10, rookie year 2020. It's selling for it's topping out kind of around the $400 mark. Let's like a nice round number. Anthony Edwards versus Anthony Edwards, same year, Silver Prism. The next MJ, some people say. We're looking at topping out right now about 700 in
For
a
silver?
PSA 10 for silver. Yeah. So Anthony Edwards at 700 PSA 10 versus Tyrese Halliburton at 400 PSA 10.
I'm paying. I'll go first, Clark. This is an easy one for me.
Me too.
I'm going Anthony Edwards 100%. I would do that in a heartbeat. I would overpay for Anthony Edwards compared to Halliburton. Not saying that. Well, one, Silver Prisms. That's probably one of the worst cards you could pick because they're mass produced.
Wow,
at that time.
How times have changed.
We all know. We all
the gold
were in the
standard.
trap.
We
all were in the trap until liquidity proved us wrong because they weren't as liquid, and we called it though. We said it was way too many silvers for it to keep that demand. So, that $400 to $700 marker, yes, it's a big, variance in terms of buying high versus buying the good deal. But in this case, I'm going with the player. I believe Anthony Edwards is gonna continue to do crazy stuff. He's still young. This guy's 24 years old, and he's the exciting player. He's the marketable player. So for me, it's a no-brainer because I could make my money way quicker, the $700 way quicker on Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. So Hyung would choose Ant-Man in a heartbeat. I would choose Ant-Man in half a heartbeat. Okay, this is really easy. I think the upside play, kind of what Hyung was mentioning, the upside play is just too great to not pay the 700 premium on Ant-Man. And I think Tyrese Halliburton, I think he's proving a lot of people wrong, but I also believe right now, at least in the $400 mark, it's kind of recency bias too, right? Like the Pacers could win the championship. They're up 2-1 as we record, right? So that might even go above 400, but I think the upside mid to long term is still with Ant-Man because I think the Timberwolves are still a good team. And if they win, Ant-Man's that card's gonna be greater than 700. So Ant-Man for me.
Man, Pacers are on a generational playoff run. They have I don't know, what was it, 3 or 4 20-point comebacks or whatever the stat was. This is something we've never seen before. Crazy. And if they end up winning, I mean, Halliburton is going to be on that sort of Reggie Miller clutch. He's on that trajectory. So I mean, we could be again underestimating Halliburton. At 400, it's gone up. You could have scored Tyrese Halliburton a month and a half ago for $150. So whoever had it was holding on it. You guys did well. With that being said, I thought this was going to be an easier, a better debate, but I think you guys also talked me into Anthony Edwards. I was gonna pick Halliburton, but Anthony Edwards.
Halliburton at 150 is different.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. That was a steal. Yeah, that was really underrated. But I think Halliburton has a chance to win. I mean, he hasn't won anything yet. So if he wins, he's on a certain status. He has an ability to win multiple. I think so does Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards, I don't know. He looks, when he's on, he's like KD. He's a scoring machine, unstoppable. And I think he's got championships written on his name. So yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm buying the buy low for Anthony Edwards over the buy high on Halliburton.
Good one. The correct answer actually is what Hyung likes to do, give a third option, is SGA. Okay, if it's market tanks because of this, give me SGA.
Yeah.
With the Canadian bias, all
Or
included.
fourth option, stay away from
right.
silvers.
Yes.
That's Hyung's answer, actually. Stay away from silvers. All right, another great show, guys. John, glad to have you back again. And hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, we appreciate a 5-star rating and a good comment. That helps us out a lot. So yeah, we'll see you again next week for a brand new show. Talk to you then. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.